I hope it's not that hard, because it should not be incredibly difficult to do something that is exactly what you signed up for. So, like, later in the show, I know we're going to talk about Kyrie and LeBron. Kyrie signed a long-term contract extension before LeBron got there, right? Before LeBron came back. A lot of Kyrie's complaints would ring hollow to me if he signed it after LeBron. Boogie signed with the Warriors knowing who's on the roster, knowing they're back-to-back champions, knowing he's coming off an injury. Also knowing, I would imagine, from his representation that, DeMarcus, it is not about your points and rebounds and assists this year. It's about how healthy you are at the end of the year, and are there reports that you are bad for the locker room. If you're healthy and those reports aren't there, guess what? You got your $100 million. So all logic dictates it shouldn't be that difficult, that he wouldn't sign up for this if he didn't think he could handle it. And nothing has changed between when he agreed to go there and right now, where it's like, oh, now he's going to have an even lesser role. This is what he signed up for.
Well, Nick, let's not forget that he did make this decision in a panic. So he hadn't had a whole bunch of time to think about this.
That's a good point.
I totally disagree with you. And also, I'm from the school of thought that I know it's harder to play with great players than it is to play with bad players. And for the most part of his career in Sacramento, he's played with bad players. The first thing the players do after every game is they go into the locker room and they're issued several pieces of white paper. Yeah. And they give them out. And you know what the guys do? They sit down and they start to read. And you start to see, I only played 14 minutes. I only had 4 shots. So I believe this is Boogie's greatest challenge since he's been in the NBA. Because when the stat sheet doesn't say you had a great game, all you can do is tell people, oh, man, I'm great here. I'm having a great time. Oh, it doesn't matter the stats. Why they keep these then? These stats matter. And you're going to find out, and he and a lot of other people are going to find out, it's really hard to play with great players because all that sacrificing, every player is not willing to make those sacrifices. Like Draymond, where does he go? From 12 points down to 8? Y'all think he's going to like that? Now, Clay, this is in the last year of his contract. Now, what should he do? You think Durant? He already came down from 30 to 28 to 26. How much further KD got to keep going down? So when you play with great players, it's just so easy. People say, you know something, this game's so much easier. No, it's not. Because there's less shots, there's less glory to be spread around, and that stat sheet at the end of the day, when they look at that, which all the players do, he's going to have a problem justifying his decision because they are the huge favorites to be able to win. So what does he gain night in and night out if the stat sheet don't reflect that he's a... Because I'm getting away from these max contracts and, oh, this guy's definitely going to get paid. Because I've seen players that we tried to map it out, that they were going to get a max contract, and they didn't do it. We thought Capella, oh, man, Phoenix going to give him a max contract. It didn't happen. Isaiah Thomas, oh, he got injured. Oh, now he got traded.
And now Isaiah Thomas don't have any contract right now.
Absolutely. So I've seen enough examples in the last couple of years in the NBA to not think, oh, no, it's guaranteed. He's definitely going to get a max contract. People are going to love his image and everything. Boogie's going to do well in this situation.
Do you agree with what Nick said, though, that the two things that are most important or should be most important to Boogie are not what's on the stat sheet, but staying healthy and being a good locker room presence?
Oh, yeah, it sounds great. It sounds great. Put it on a card, send it to Hallmark, they'll sell a bunch of them. But the reality is we're human beings. He's a very emotional human being. And he's not used to winning. The Warriors are used to winning. So they're used to coming in, and you know something? Clay didn't get the necessarily shots that he got. He's like, oh, you know, I got another game. It's cool. I've had a year to adjust. This is Boogie. What, does Boogie start?
What?
Do you start
Steve Kerr said yes. Steve Kerr said he is going to start him.
Of course, you have to start him.
Right.
The reason why is because you don't want him to look at that stat sheet and be like, 20 minutes, 18 minutes. I believe it is going to be an issue.
All right, so the few really interesting things you said. One is about the Warriors being the prohibitive favorites anyway. What Durant did have going for him in the move is he got to at least say, or not that he publicly said it, but it was said for him, man, they lost last year. They needed another piece. They needed another guy. They needed something more to get through LeBron. Even though they'd already won one title, even though they'd won 73 games, even though a lot of people thought it was disingenuous, you could make the case. They weren't the two-time defending champs who had just swept the NBA Finals. The reason that I said I don't know that health and being a good locker room presence is what's most important to Boogie. I said his agent should be communicating to him. That's what's most important to the league. The league, whomever's going to sign him next year, and whether it's a max contract or not, a guy that's 28 years old, if he is healthy and he doesn't add to his bad reputation, he's going to get an enormous deal.
My problem with relying on an agent is, first of all, Boogie don't work for the agent. The agent works for Boogie. And the agent hadn't been very, very effective throughout Boogie's career. Because I'm sure he's been telling Boogie, this is a big year for you, Boogie. We don't need you to get thrown out the game. We don't need you to be in a dispute with the organization. We need you, Boogie. They've been telling Boogie that his whole career. Has it worked? It worked last year. That was the only year that people were saying good things about Boogie Cousins.
And so the other thing, though, that I'll add is this is, for him, you could argue something of, if we're worried about how much he's going to deal with not being the focal point of the offense, this is one of the only places he wouldn't be the focal point of the offense. But it's because they don't need him. They are not going to rush him back. They can be very slow with him. And at least early on, Steve Kerr can say it's about the injury. It's about the injury.
Limit your minutes because
now,
of the injury.
If Chris's concern comes up in February, March, April, when he's fully healthy and saying, I can do it, I just look at the Warriors and I said, last year, my biggest criticism of Steve Kerr is, why are they playing any minutes without Steph and KD on the court? And now in those minutes, they can just run everything through Boogie Cousins. They can still find moments of the game where he is the focal point of the offense. It won't be anything like what he was used to in Sacramento or New Orleans.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.